This video is to describe how to repair your impossible table if you break a center chain member. So this is a intact table, but I'm going to go ahead and cut the center member to show you or simulate a break. So now this is broken. Oh no. Make sure you keep up with the pieces. There are some spares in the kit, but it's best if you reuse what was already there. I like to start by taking one of the arms off. So you can take the arm completely off, just take the screws out. That way you have one to work with. So go ahead and you can push this back out. You push that keeper out with your chain attached. You may need some pliers. I like to use these little wire cutters. You can kind of grip the keeper gently like that, and then you can push the chain out of its little keeper pocket and it will release the keeper. So discard that chain. You want to remove these little washers are spacers that help you kind of dial in the tension of the table. The standard is about 6 or 7. So whatever you had before should be good enough for your next round. Just take these off and put them somewhere safe. Do the same thing with your keeper here. Remove that from the chain. Your new piece of chain needs to be 17 balls. So count out 17 balls and just make sure you have 17. So go ahead and put a keeper back on that chain. These things can be a little bit tricky, but you slip it in there. You can kind of grip it and you can hear it kind of click in. There's a little detent inside that kind of grips it. You can kind of, I just clicked it in. Go ahead and put your washers back on. I think this one has 7. There should be some spares in your kit, but keep up with them if you have them. If you don't have enough, we can figure out how to get you some. So this can also be a little bit tricky. It's little bitty pieces. What I do is kind of hold them all and get them all lined up into a circle so that they're all lined up like a cylinder, like that. And then drop my chain through like that, and then kind of let them dangle down and lock them onto that keeper if you can. That goes back through the arm. Now you've got a new piece of chain. So your other arm, to assemble it correctly, you really need both arms loose. So let's go ahead and take this arm off too. It makes it a whole lot easier. So we'll take this arm off. So you got this arm, and they go together like that. So bring this through. You need to put a keeper on that side. So now I've replaced my center chain. The only way to assemble it really is to start with one arm, start the screws, get them about 2 or 3 turns in, because you're going to need that slack to get it all to go together. If you tighten up one side, you won't be able to get the screws to start on the other side. So it's easiest to lay it on its side like this and kind of squeeze with one finger and get your screws in this side, get them started. It's still kind of a handful. So once you have both of them started, you can use your tool to kind of tighten them down. the whole system doesn't really tighten up until the screws are tight. So we left the other side loose, so now we got to tighten this side. And fumbling around. There you go. Nice and tight again. You can actually, a pro tip, you can, if you're not satisfied with the tension, you can add or remove spacers here, and that'll change the tension of the entire table. If you get too many, when you tighten it down, it can put an unbelievable amount of pressure on this center tension. You can get it too tight, and when you tighten the screws down, the chain will break. So just keep that in mind. So if you drop it, like say you drop this off a table, I've noticed that you can stretch the chain. Typically the one that stretches or becomes damaged is the central chain. This one's under the most pressure. So if your table just all of a sudden gets loose after you drop it and it doesn't look like it's bent or anything, just go ahead and replace the center chain. The outside chains are kind of the same scenario. They don't have the spacers. They're a lot easier to change if you do break one. Just loosen the arms, maybe take one arm off. You can change the side chain and then tighten it all back up. And if you need more help, let me know.